Hello and namaskar, welcome to Express Cafe. Sikkim Express, the largest selling English daily in Sikkim, always had a column called Citizen Reporter, where common people would voice their issues and flag concerns. The COVID pandemic has all pushed us indoors, and the digital media has come in big format. So Sikkim Express has started a column which has moved into the digital format in way of Express Cafe. So this is a program where we'll be having chat shows, but this would be a program driven by the civil society, for the civil society and of the civil society. For this program, I'm your host, Dr. Satyadeep Chetri, and with me is an eclectic panel. Gangtok is going for the GMC elections, and this is very interesting this year because this is the first time Gangtok and the other municipal corporations will be going for an election which would not be party based. So there's a lot of enthusiasm in the air, but there's also concerns which is being talked about by the civil society, and one of the thing is, will our issues be taken up by the candidates or those who win the GMC elections? To have this issues reach the right ears, we have this program or this issue which is being called What Janta Wants. With me are three very distinguished guests. The first one, of course, Mr. Kapil Meena. He's the additional secretary at the Department of Tourism, but he's also stayed as DC East and had a lot of things to do with the city. He's been here for 10 years, and I hope it was a wonderful time being here in Sikkim.
Yes, surely.
Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you.
We have Mr. Guru Chiring Ladaki, a business magnate of Gangtok and Sikkim. You all must be knowing. Whenever it comes to Maruti, it's always Mr. Ladaki, who is much in demand. But beyond that, he's also a social thinker and a writer, and of course a great philanthropist. He's helped a lot of people during the COVID pandemic. Welcome, Mr. Guru Ladaki.
Thank you very much.
And then we have Mr. Sonam, and Sonam is actually a great designer, an alumni from the National Institute of Design, also lectures and gives talks at NID. But beyond that, he's also a social thinker, an architect and a designer par excellence, and he runs this great initiative called La Studio. Welcome, Sonam, to this show.
Thank you.
I think you all must be very excited about these elections because it's totally civil society driven. It's actually historic and revolutionary in terms of this new government which has given us and the civil society this opportunity. So I would like to start with the senior most citizen of Gangtok in this panel, Mr. Ladaki, you were born here. What else does Gangtok mean to you?
Gangtok is, apart from being home, it is also my sanctuary, and it is a place where I make my livelihood from. And with your reference to the upcoming municipal election, and so it impacts all our lives, and this new decision by the government to have this non-party base, I think is a step in the right direction, because when you have parties, it's all about tu me, so we don't want that.
Kapil sir, you've been all across India and you've seen different states, been in the civil services. See this city, what does it mean to you?
Gangtok as a city means very lively, lively with happy people around. Nice city, clean city, and good place to work for. As far as if you see for us to work in the government, a very nice place to work with, and very good people, a lively town. That is how I see it, with a awesome weather, of course.
Sonam, you've been writing a lot about the city in your Facebook posts. You've been very socially active. What does Gangtok mean to you?
I think for me, as a first generation entrepreneur, I think Gangtok means opportunities. It means completely different understanding of how mountain cities are looked at. It also is a heritage city. This is where you have not only heritage from the point of view of your physical structures, but also natural structures. They're very old trees here, all of that. So there's a lot of memories with Gangtok. So Gangtok actually is a very collective place of collective memories.
Mr. Guru, one very important issue, whenever we see Gangtok, people have, like Mr. Meena said, it's a very lively town. Of course it is. Very good people, very happy people. But then, people always have complaints. And the complaints. Most of them would be on sanitation, would be on traffic, etc., etc., since you are in the business of cars, and in the earlier program also there was a lot of talk about mobility. Some issues that you can flag on mobility and traffic, how it can be.
Gangtok has its challenges because of its topography. In any city which is growing at a rapid pace, the first thing to consider is mass transit of public. So that remains a challenge in Gangtok because of this topography and geography, and how technology and engineering can address that will be the key question. And we have to, what I have seen till now, planning in the city has been always kicking the can a little further down the road and not long term. It's not like, you're not looking at 40 years, 50 years down the line, but we're just looking at 2-3 years down the line. And that is not going to solve long-term problems. And this is a need of the hour. In terms of power supply, these are quite good compared to other hill cities. But in terms of mass transit, though as an automobile dealer, it is, for me the status quo remains good. But as a citizen of Gangtok, I feel government must think long term, and of course the capital cost will be high. But nevertheless, this is what will make Gangtok viable and livable in the future.
True. In the pandemic, we saw that when the odd even rule was, levied on the city, the traffic was pretty smooth.
But those are short term, and those have limited successes. So we will need, I think, in the future, in one of our earlier platforms, I had talked about, Gangtok does need tunnels in future. It is going to huge capital investments, but tunnels to interconnect the city. Like if you go to San Francisco or you go to other cities, they also have a lot of hills, and that's how you connect. And you have similar thing in Hong Kong. We need tunnels because the topography demands it to connect the different parts of the city.
Very interesting thing that has come out, because last episode we had Mr. Lakchungpa talking about going over muni jaga chaina aba hami ukalo hednu parcha भन्ने नि. Sonam, you keep writing about architecture, and it's an urban jungle. Considering the city right now, all buildings coming up. There is no space actually. How do you look at it from the view of an architect, as a designer? Vernacular designs, etc. Could you?
I think now we are gone past planning stage. We've gone more into a management state for Gangtok, especially. I'm talking purely Gangtok, not Namchi or Mangan.
There's still time there.
There's still time there to do something in terms of the design phase. Right. Here now, what we have to really look at it is a systems design approach. You really can't look at architecture in isolation now. You have to look at communities and a cluster or a thing, and you have to have different mechanisms to take care of different issues in that particular locality, whether it's mobility or whether it's waste or whether it's opportunities. And we have to look at Gangtok now. This is basically our economic zone. Yeah. If you really look at it, this is the education hub and the economic zone primarily. So if you really have to start looking at looking at architecture in that manner, to engage architecture into this problems, you have to take a systems approach to it. You cannot, like, we cannot just do like this whole, let's just create a very beautiful, lovely building and do
And
it.
leave the other spaces just
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, it won't work that way because we'll have to look at it holistically, because now that time has come. You have got the government of India has got the schemes, they have got all the funds,
smart cities, yeah.
everything. The smart cities, yeah. Now we have a opportunity here to the GMC to actually now create a very good ecosystem for managing the city, which hasn't been looked out till now, but because of this government's decision to actually go partyless, you probably might find not only good people but more capable people to run the city. And that's how I see architectural thing as in that sense, that you need people who understands architecture, because when somebody makes a presentation, the recent master plan presentation, you get stakeholders there, they won't understand that. You need councillors who understand blueprints. And we can comment, why is this is, why is the dead space there? How is that going to cost us,
More educated.
the city? So you need that.
Yeah, rightly said, because Meena sir, I would, since you've been in the DC and you've seen the city grow
Yeah.
in your tenure, all that. In the last discussion, we had the ex-chairman, Mr. Ashish Rai, was also here, and in Mr. Kailash was also here. I mean, they were both talking about there is a lot of one department moving into the other. The governance level ma chai there is a lot of तपाईलाई कस्तो लाग्छ यो, I mean, is there this one कि त्यही कारण function नगर्नु सकेको हो कि devolution of power भएको छैन पनि भन्दैछ.
Coordination issues are there. Coordination issues are there, which we have felt because we were in district administration, and not only as DC, I worked there as SDM also, as ADC also, and further I worked in other departments in Gangtok. So out of my 10 years, maybe 6-7 years I have been in Gangtok. So the issues in terms of government, if you see, there are issues of coordination. There are issues of coordination between the various agencies. So that is not only government agencies but even with the private
sector.
So there are so many stakeholders which are involved in a city's development, we know.
Right.
So it is not only the government which does everything, right? It is about the businesses also. It is about the civil society also. It is about the NGOs also. So there are issues of coordination. Why that happens, as per my understanding of the system, is because we never had those kind of systems, and departments, they work in their silos. That is very common here. So every department working in their own way, and then there is no proper coordinating agencies. Maybe one suggestion which I should give is having a more stronger GMC also in terms of its powers and coordination powers especially. See, coordination doesn't happen unless the institution is respected
and ready for it,
and given the powers. So if GMC becomes toothless, then again nobody listens to it, right? So if GMC commissioner is not a powerful person who has powers to take action against certain people, then they are not able to implement the policies also. Another thing which I would like to point out, taking the point from Mr. Sonam only, is that it is very high time that we implement the building bylaws in the town, because we have, every person we see has been violating the building bylaws. So we have buildings which are coming up. One is architecture, but another thing is how safe we are.
and violation also.
And violation of the bylaws. That means that if you are allowed 5.5 and all, I think that is the regulation. Then you are going up to 9 floors and 10 floors.
True.
Which is at some point of time you have to stop it.
It could be a disaster.
It is a disaster. It is a
Already,
disaster. And then in 2011, I had just joined Sikkim. Faced that disaster. Everyone faced that disaster, and luckily Gangtok was saved. And if that earthquake would have been 10 seconds more, it might have been a disaster for the city. Yeah, everyone knows who faced that disaster. Now the issue is building bylaws have to be strictly implemented, and it is the citizens who have to take the responsibility. Even if you have to demolish your structures which are beyond the
limit.
building bylaws, so every person should be ready for that.
Certain old laws, even bylaws, like for example, you can have 5.5 story building, but if they are not built correctly or the design structures are not correct, I mean, I'm just slightly I'm differing a bit, because if you look at Hong Kong, you know, it has a very hilly topography, but they are able to build 30-story, 40-story building because you have technology. The structures are designed for that. Whereas here we are building five and a half stories allowed. We are building 6, 7, but without the structural
Technology.
design consideration.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
so
he's
that
right.
if you have a structure today, you have earthquake resistant buildings. You know, technology is there, and you have qualified people to design them, and we should be able to take advantage of that.
So that is what. So the city has developed in a, you can say, in a
Haphazard manner?
haphazard manner, you can say, and then that reality we all should accept. And
Yeah, of course.
what Mr. Sona was saying is that now the planning phase is gone for this particular city. That is true, but at least from now,
Smart management.
having those bylaws being implemented, having all those rules being followed, nobody violates, then at least you are saving, you are making it safe for the future times.
Sonam, you write pretty much on solid waste in your posts, you know, and yesterday or day before yesterday also we saw a post. How do you know the landfill's full, and that was made for 17 years, but we managed to fill it up in 4 years. So we are looking at an imminent danger of garbage in a big way. Civil society is to be blamed. True, we take the blame, but is there, in as short as कसरी चाहिँ हामीले यसलाई म्यानेज गर्न सक्छ, other than segregation and all that, let's say that everyone does it, कसरी गर्नु सक्छ? Just 1 or 2 smart solutions from you.
Yeah, I think, you know, say the Zero Waste Himalaya did a waste audit.
True.
Of the entire thing,
Yeah.
right? So if you really look at the whole the waste generation that is happening, now when you say that, you know, 14 lakh tourists come to Sikkim every year, what will you get? You know,
Waste.
yeah. So at the end of the day, I think, you know, when we have to come in with services, you know, better management services, which actually manages waste at a source level.
Actually, people are making a lot of money doing that.
And
It's a good source
there's
for
there's a young
entrepreneurship.
guys, you know, Voyager and all those guys. They're doing pretty good. You know, they're small, efficient. They are there, pick up the thing. They make sure the people that they're taking the garbage from is also following good practices in their business spaces as well as their.
But yes, we should be worried about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the concern for
Every
every
city.
developing
Every city.
every city. You know.
And I think another problem is we don't have statistics. Like for example, you said this was built for how many years?
17 years.
17 years. So why did it fill up in 4 years? That's because we
the
don't have
management.
statistics.
And the
You know,
management.
proper statistics to plan accordingly. You know, that's another.
No, also there's another thing of that. See, you collect, you segregate it and all that. You put it in one place. Then there's a dead end there. You know, then the processing part of it. What next? No? What do you do with it? That part you really have until that is figured out. It's just going to keep accumulating, you know. And then we are basically, the thing is that we look at everything on a piecemeal solution. No, if you
Banded
like,
solutions, I
yeah.
call
So
that, you
for
know.
solution for everything is a systems approach.
Taking our discussion forward, you know, any city also has art, literature, you know, the social space, people talking, you know, living small, but talking, you know, thinking big, you know. You've been a writer, you know. What do you think about Gangtok in this matter?
Long time ago now, it seems, 1998, that's almost 23 years ago. Few people, we got together and we started the first Converse. You know, that was like a first small literary fest in Gangtok, because we wanted Gangtok not just to be identified as a town of only bureaucrats and engineers, but rather also a town which will give space for people to express themselves in literature, art. We need these are. I mean, if you don't have a vibrant scene in art and literature in any city or any country, then you lose the soul of that city, you know, or that country. So we need to have open space, and also things like this, you know, where Gangtok has no culture of debate. You know, there's no culture as such of discussions, and I think this platform like this affords that opportunity, and we must engage People must come and engage themselves, because it's for only through discussion we can move forward.
It's true. I mean, that was like, you know, when Literary Fest was not much known across the country, we had Converse, you know. So the thinking is there, and Meena sir, as I said, you've traveled and you've stayed in places like Uttaranchal and Rajasthan, and which got a very strong culture. How do you see that vis-a-vis Gangtok? I mean, what suggestions could you give?
Don't know much about literature and culture, but then obviously if you compare this, I was in college in Uttarakhand and stayed in Delhi for quite some time, and in Rajasthan, of course.
Like Jaipur Lit Fest, Jaipur Lit Fest, you know?
Jaipur
It's a big-
Literature,
it's a big thing.
Literary Fest is so famous and world known, and you get so much of attention to that. But Gangtok lacks that kind of ecosystem, you can say, of having a lot of artists and literary things happening, events happening, or people getting that chance, and that is how they are not doing it also, maybe because there are no platforms.
So can I ask, you know, I mean, since he is in the tourism department, you know, can GMC and tourism department come together and have a big lit fest, you know, as a tourism event?
Of course, tourism also. Then you have your culture department.
Culture department is also
which
there.
again is directly concerned with this thing.
Exactly.
So tourism, culture department,
And the GMC.
and the GMC, they should come up. They should come up with such a event. Yeah.
So
true.
Again, Guru, you have someone. You
No, it's not that
Let's be
we,
hopeful.
You know, but comparatively, if you speak, relatively speaking, compared to other hill stations, we are doing quite well.
Quite
I mean,
well,
there is a
quite
lot of
well.
literary activity. There is, you know, recently we had the
Book
fest. You know, so there is, but the whole culture that time also we discussed is the culture of reading, not just reading books, but today on digital platforms there's so much to read and understand and express, you know. So apart from reading your old classic books and you know, but also reading things which are current and which matter to and are of relevance to
city.
As a city dweller, particularly of Gangtok, we must be able to engage, you know.
Sonam, final question to you. How do you look at this new system of, you know, civil society standing for elections? Let's call it. I will not call it independent. I'll call it the civil society standing for elections. How do you look at this concept?
I'm very excited about it. Very excited, very hopeful, and I've never felt so politically engaged in an election so far. Because I mean, even if I go openly and support somebody, and it happens to be later on a party-based, party-supported candidate, I would just say, "Oh, I didn't know you were from that party," because what you really coming out as a very independent candidate. Now that this whole thing about, as entrepreneurs, as civil society, we can openly come and talk politics, because you know.
No, I think it's more than politics.
Yeah,
it's like it's a festival.
It's a nice thing,
festival.
because I think, you know, a lot of capable people are actually coming forward and saying that, hey, you know, I think I can probably solve these issues and problems, and I don't need huge funds. I don't need a party ticket. I don't need to put thousands of khadas to everybody, and I can still go and make a point. So for me, I think that's a very exciting proposition, and as an entrepreneur, I think for me, when I looked at the GMC, it's a revenue making thing. It's a corporation. You know, it basically is actually very independent. The GMC itself is an independent body to have its own self-sustaining model, you know, finances, etc., all that. So as an entrepreneur, I would really want to engage and participate and collaborate with the GMC at all levels of the decision making.
Sure. We're very thankful to Tashidile, our host, who have given us this nice mocktails. As Sonam has said, that he's very excited, that there's a lot of buzz in the air, and we picked up very crucial issues today. You know, we talked about mobility. Kapil sir talked very much about intermingling of departments and how it has to be sorted out at that level. So GMC has a big role to sort out now, you know. Sonam rightly talked about garbage and also about the architecture as such, you know, and you talked about tunnels, and that's a new thing, I mean, specifically for me. Let's see what shape it takes, and before that, I think a big toast to all the candidates who come, and I would like to have a this one from you, review from you. How does it taste, Mr. Guru?
Oh, nice. Fizzy. Sweet and sour.
Nice.
Nice.
So thank you very much for being with us. Hope to meet you all in the next episode of Express Cafe, where again we'll be talking about the GMC elections and what Janta wants. Thank you and bye bye.